has taken over. Let's go. It's Ferrall. Coast to coast. Steaks, chicks, stacks. You and I are going to make a lot of money. It's Ferrall, coast to coast.
I know as we start the third and final hour here on C2C on a Pain-Free Friday, we got a couple of racks left of ribs here for college rack tourney games tonight.
We certainly do. Let's do the Summit League. They have some quarterfinal games tonight. Now, this will confuse you because that's what it's meant to do. Of course, in the Summit, you have South Dakota State, North Dakota State. Well, South Dakota will face the Bison of North Dakota State in the first game tonight, Bison -4.5. And then North Dakota will play the Jackrabbits of South Dakota State in the second game. They're laying, I'm seeing, up to 8.5 now. So you have that going on in the Summit. We've talked some Missouri Valley already today with Belmont up big and Drake as a winner. Well, tonight, Murray State and Bradley will be the third game of the day in St. Louis. And then late night, hit Valpo last night with that upset win. Now they're playing Northern Iowa, where they're probably going to get racked by Northern Iowa tonight.
Yeah, they're going to learn the hard way tonight. They'll lose the Beacons, also known as the former Crusaders that offended all the woke people. What do you mean, you people? I like Bradley over Murray State. I think South Dakota State will rack North Dakota. And I like North Dakota State. And you could have got that this morning at 3.5. Now it's 4.5. I still like it. I like North Dakota State. I like the Bison to get it done.
And then finally I have for you, and then you could tell me there are maybe some stragglers if you like some MAC games, but the OVC semifinals. Little Rock and Southeast Missouri in the first game with Tennessee State against SIU Edwardsville in the second game of those OVC semis. And then late night, West Coast second round games, Pepperdine and Portland in the first one, short number for Portland. And San Diego, the Toreros, after the win yesterday, now face Loyola Marymount, and they are laying 8.5 against the Toreros.
They're gonna lose to Loyola. Loyola covers, Portland covers, SIU Edwardsville covers, and so does Southeast Missouri State. Chalk. All of those things.
Chalk it up for you there. Now, as far as stragglers, the only games I probably didn't get to you were these MAC games, because there's a ton of MAC games tonight as well.
Yeah, I see them. I like Toledo at home. I like Central Michigan big. I think, I hit with Eastern Michigan the last time. I'm going to take the Sticks, the 11.5 at Kent. And I like Bowling Green over Western. And I think Akron will eviscerate Buffalo tonight. I like Miami of Ohio at home. But, boy, 10 with Ball State. We keep hitting. That's 2 in a row with Ball State we hit. I'm going to take Ball State on the road in a 10 spot at Oxford. And that's the last game.
There you go for tonight. Now, listen, I got to give you some of these for the weekend. All right. First of all, on Saturday, St. John's and Marquette. Now, not a lot of meaning there. Obviously, we know St. John's has already won the conference, but they're looking to finish off heading into the Big East tournament. Marquette, 1.5-point favorite there. Kentucky's at Missouri on Saturday afternoon. Big game for Arkansas. They have Mississippi State at home early in the day. Penn State is at Wisconsin. Iowa State at Kansas State. Alabama, Auburn, 7-1. Auburn minus the 8.5 at home. Maryland has Northwestern. Texas A&M's at LSU. Ole Miss in Florida. Arizona, Kansas. Duke, North Carolina. How about Duke laying 10.5 in Chapel Hill? 6 o'clock East tip for that game. Utah, BYU, the Holy War on the hardwood. Houston, Baylor, a full slate on Saturday for you.
I mean, Duke still kills everybody. They're going to kill North Carolina. I like Texas at home over Oklahoma. I got to tell you, the UCLA-USC game, I could see that being inside of 8.5. UCLA's at home at Pauley, though. And I'm just looking at some of those late night games. I still like Houston at Baylor and Waco, BYU at home over Utah. I like San Diego State late night at the Viejas over Nevada. I like UC San Diego over Davis. Riverside over Fullerton. I just want to go up the list here just to look at some of them. Creighton at home in Omaha over Butler. Florida over Ole Miss in Gainesville. Oh, I'm staying away from that Kansas-Arizona game right now for the time being. I really am. Indiana, I got to have them win. Look at the number. It's only 1.5. I told you because Ohio State gives them fits. I got to have the Hoosiers win. I just got to have it. Maryland will spank Northwestern in College Park. Auburn at the Neville. UConn never loses at Stores. They're going to do it to Hall on Saturday afternoon up there. Know that. And Tennessee at home over South Carolina. That game's in Knoxville. They're laying 15 and a hook. That might be a little heavy for me because I'll bet they take them lightly. I like Wisconsin at the Cole over Penn State. I like Loyola at UMass in Amherst as well. And I think Marquette's going to beat St. John's tomorrow in Milwaukee. I think they'll beat them at the 5-serve. And then I think St. John's will win the Big East tournament in New York.
I'm not done. I'm not done either. Just so you know, because Sunday's a day also.
Whoa.
Michigan State, Iowa, Nebraska. We don't have lines on these games yet. And then there's lots of these conference tournament games on Sunday. You're going to have 4 CAA quarterfinals that day. Those 2 Patriot semis that I told you about.
Southland.
The A-Sun title game with Lipscomb and North Alabama. The Valley will have the championship game on Sunday afternoon as well. You got some late night. The West Coast will play late night. Big Sky's playing late night. Sunbelt's playing late night. So there's a lot of conference tourney games on Sunday.
Jesus, I don't even see those late night games. I don't know what's going on there. I guess I got nothing past 8:30. But look, there's games. Oregon's going to beat Washington and Seattle. I like Colgate to beat American in that Patriot semi. The other one, I like Bucknell over Navy. I like Michigan State to beat Michigan. Michigan's been losing every game they played. Nebraska, I like at home. Temple, I think, will upset North Texas in Philly. FAU at home over East Carolina. There's tons of great games. I like Corpus Christi over Houston Christian in the Southland. And I like Southeast Louisiana to beat Incarnate Word.
There you go. Yeah, a lot of those, you probably don't see them yet on where because the matchups aren't set. Like the Dons are playing 11 o'clock on Sunday night at the Orleans, but you don't know who they're playing yet because they got to see who gets through. Montana's playing in the Big Sky. Don't know who they're playing yet. So there's a lot of matchups to be determined in a lot of those conference tournament games. So when we come back Monday, we'll have all the brackets for the conference tournaments. Big Ten, ACC, SEC. We're going to and we'll have games Monday night, too. There's a bunch of games Monday, championship games, too, I think. We might have a few, like the Horizon semis are Monday night. CAA semi are Monday night. Bobby Moe in Oakland in the first game with Youngstown against Cleveland in the second. So we've got those. We love the Horizon League.
I like Bobby Moe.
So this is the best time.
I went against my Penguins. I can't do it again. They'll beat Cleveland State. Let's go Penguinis.
So fun weekend of college hoops. Fun couple of weeks coming up too. All right, we've got a lot of other stuff to do. Before we get out of here, I'll recap some trade deadline stuff for you. We have hockey games tonight that we have to get to as well. Everybody does love hockey. We'll do that next.
So my team didn't win this weekend, but I still did with this app that's taking over the game. Sports Millions Pick'em lets you make quick and easy predictions. Pick your favorite players, go higher or lower, and you can still win big even if your team loses. Plus, the multiplier is insane. With just a few picks, you can win big money. So get on it. They've got a welcome bonus to help you start off your winning streak.
Anyone that's been to a sporting event, the atmosphere before a game, I think Game Time Decisions has that same exact atmosphere. This is our arena. This is what we do. There is going to be an energy to Game Time Decisions that you will feel night in and night out. The excitement you get when you lock your bets in, when you're figuring out what you want to do, we can zone in on the biggest games each night. I want this to be the place that people come to before the games start so they feel as ready as possible to lock in their cards. We are going to hit every single one of those markets that you need to know about. We're going to go through every single thing, and I've got a great team behind me that's going to help me get the job done. There is not going to be a better place, I promise you, than Game Time Decisions to get that new information, react to it, and be able to then bet accordingly. We will have everything at our disposal, and we will use that to our advantage. I'm Kevin Walsh. Tune into Game Time Decisions from 6 to 8 p.m. Eastern on SportsGrid.
Two guys that can do it all.
Too much electricity this morning.
This is a good time. We're having a lot of fun.
I had to do a triple take.
Ka-ching! Why? Because of parity. I didn't mean to offend.
Yeah, it's not going to happen.
Load management is a dirty word.
Let him rip.
You know what? Circumstances provide the results. What?
How do you do this once?
Oh, Donnie, you've got such a good show there.
A network that is booming.
The Early Line, only on SportsGrid.
So they're saying that the big winner, after it's all said and done, of the NHL trade deadline is that Mitch Marner is going to be the richest guy this summer in free agency after Rantanen got $12 million, that Marner's going to get the big bag coming out of Toronto.
Well, let me just, I'll put it to you this way. Let me ask you this straight up. Just forget what he's been paid now and what everything else. Who would you rather have on your team? You can only pick one of them. Do you want Mitch Marner or do you want Mikko Rantanen? First, you can only take one of them.
It's too easy, Rantanen.
Now, some would say that Rantanen is a product of his environment, playing with Nathan McKinnon, and that's why his numbers have been so big, and he went and bellyached when he went to Carolina.
Do it again in Dallas.
He's got pretty good guys. He's going to be around Dallas as well.
He's not stupid.
You know, Marner's going to get Marner's going to get some money. There's no question about that. He's going to get paid handsomely. We'll see if it's going to be Toronto where he ends up. Look, we went through a lot of this stuff. Obviously, we know Rantanen, Marchand, Nelson, really the biggest stuff today. Coyle goes to Colorado as well. A lot of minor deals. But here's the problem with some of these minor deals, Scotty. The prices, right? Like Brandon Tanev, a second rounder. Scott Lawton, a first rounder. Beauvillier, a second rounder. Like, that's like a bit of a steal for the Penguins. Getting a second rounder for Beauvillier. Getting a second and a fourth for Luke Shen, who they just got like 2 days ago from Nashville. 5 minutes ago they got that guy. And they got a second and a fourth. Now, Riley Smith went back to Vegas. He was, of course, part of their cup-winning team.
It's the only time he's ever been good. Was when he played in Vegas. He sucked for the Penguins. He sucked for the Rangers. And now they brought him back to Vegas, where he's probably going to get kick-started because that's the only place he's ever been good or happy.
Good or happy. That's the only place that he has been. That's for sure. And even this Jake Wallman, the defenseman from the Sharks, he was a first-round pick that Edmonton had to give up to get him. So some high prices, which, of course, bothers me, because this dope Lou sat on his hands with guys who, like Kyle Palmieri, J.G. Pajot, Anders Lee, guys that maybe he could have got some some big return for. And apparently the story came out. He only traded Nelson because Nelson said he wasn't sure if he'd re-sign or not. He wanted to wait until July 1st to be a free agent.
He did an interview the other day, and I saw it. Did you see the interview where he was all teary-eyed about playing for the Islanders? He loves it so much. That's all he knows, and he's just. I thought the guy was going to break down, and the reporter chick was going to have to give him a kiss. And then but the whole time you're telling me he didn't want to re-sign with him.
Well, he didn't want to give them the commitment now. And I guess they were offering 3 years. He wanted 5 years. And look, from that aspect, to be fair, I'm not really in the light of giving 35-year-old players a 5-year, $7.5 million deal. Like, that's not my.
And what's he going to be now? Is he going to be? What line is he going to be on in Rado?
It seems like second-line center behind McKinney. Now, he'll line up in that second group, and he'll have Nichushkin with him. He's going to have some players out there.
He has a shot to win a Stanley Cup, and let's face facts, he sniffed it a little bit in Long Island, but not realistically.
No, and he's sniffed it enough to know how badly you want it, right? Like he played a lot of playoff games with the Islanders. Scored a lot of big playoff goals.
Right.
That's the type of guy that will score you, some big overtime winner in a game 6. That's the kind of guy that Brock Nelson is. It's a big ad for Colorado. And like I said, the Islanders getting that kid back, the 20-year-old that the Avalanche took in the first round 2 years ago. He's a dynamic offensive player. He's lighting up the OHL. Islanders need players like that in their system. So hopefully that I'm sure they'll screw it up somehow because they're good at doing that as well. So don't mess that up. All in all, last night, the Tampa-Buffalo game was wild. The Canes did beat the Bruins, who sold everything away. That was a crazy game.
It was 5-3 Buffalo, and then the next thing I know, it's 6-5. Gensel's a badass.
Poor Buffalo, man. I mean, how many leads did they blow this year? I mean, they just can never get out of their own way. The Buffalo Sabres. Stars won in overtime. Oilers won in overtime. And the Sharks got pounded in Colorado. 7-3.
That didn't go well with me. The getting a goal and a half. But we hit a lot of games.
We did. Hit a lot of games in the hockey. All right, I want to give you these cup odds. And I think we have, Mafia told me we have a before and after from our earlier, as in this is what it was going to be. Now, has to be the before. So this was before all these trades today. Give me the before first, Luke. That's the one that has Carolina at the top. So Florida, Carolina, Edmonton, Dallas, Colorado. This was before the trade deadline. Now let's give you after
Who cares
the trade
about before?
deadline. But look at how much it changed. Carolina drops all the way down now. Look at that. Carolina tumbles, and Florida's the favorite.
Not even on the
Dallas, not even on the board. Edmonton, Colorado up to 850. Washington, Vegas, Toronto, and the Jets.
Listen,
there you go.
And I'm not buying that. Okay, first of all, the Jets didn't get worse. They were already loaded and winning and kicking ass and taking names, and they added a couple of tough guys to that lineup. They didn't get worse, so I don't buy that. I really think Dallas and Colorado and Florida should be the top 3. To me, Edmonton passed gas. They were my favorite to go to the finals, and as of today, right now at 5:21 in the East Coast, I don't believe that they did anything to warrant being where they are at 7-1 even. I honestly think Dallas and Colorado should pass them. I still like the Caps and Vegas and Winnipeg, and I think Winnipeg's ahead of the Capitals for me because of Hellebuck and their scoring.
Right.
I still think they're better. I like the Caps. They're tough. I still think the Jets are better than them.
I think it's just Winnipeg went down because Dallas and Colorado got so much better that I think that's what just moved their number down.
anyone that's been to a sporting event, the atmosphere before a game, I think Game Time Decisions has that same exact atmosphere. This is our arena. This is what we do. There is going to be an energy to Game Time Decisions that you will feel night in and night out. The excitement you get when you lock your bets in, when you're figuring out what you want to do, we can zone in on the biggest games each night. I want this to be the place that people come to before the games start so they feel as ready as possible to lock in their cards. We are going to hit every single one of those markets that you need to know about. We're going to go through every single thing, and I've got a great team behind me that's going to help me get the job done. There is not going to be a better place, I promise you, than Game Time Decisions to get that new information, react to it, and be able to then bet accordingly. We will have everything at our disposal, and we will use that to our advantage. I'm Kevin Walsh. Tune into Game Time Decisions from 6 to 8 p.m. Eastern on SportsGrid.
The two guys that can do it all.
Too much electricity this morning.
This is a good time. We're having a lot of fun. I had to do a triple take. Ka-ching! Why? Because of parity. I didn't mean to offend.
Yeah, it's not going to happen.
Load management is a dirty word.
Let him rip.
You know what? Circumstances provide the results. What? How do you do this once? Oh, Donnie, you've got such a good show there.
A network that is booming.
The Early Line, only on SportsGrid.
Off of the combine this weekend, there's been lots of anonymous sources and position coaches and all these things that sat down in interviews with him. A lot of teams allegedly don't see him as a first-round pick.
Their big mouth that thinks they can do it either. They're embarrassing themselves. They all think they're so smart, everybody in this business. You're all a bunch of drips. Honestly, you don't know who's going anywhere.
Ferrall Coast to Coast, only on SportsGrid.
All right, we got to look at tonight's games around the NHL.
We are going to look at tonight's games around the NHL as well here. I wanted to say one thing to you about that Stanley Cup board, though. Tampa's not on there either, and they're 13-1. Now, Florida made a huge move today. I get that. But, that's a team with a lot of Cup experience. They've got Gensel now.
Great
Just
coach.
got, that... If not the best, one of the 2 or 3 best coaches in the league. They have a goalie who's won cups. Tampa, I think, is viable in the East. Now, they haven't beat Florida the last few years. They've had big problems with the Panthers. So if they get matched up with them, they're going to be in trouble. But
are those not the 2 best teams?
I think with how much Carolina lost, I think that Florida and Tampa are the 2 best teams. And I know people will yell and scream about Washington. I got to see this Washington team do it in the playoffs. I've seen Florida and Tampa do it in the playoffs. So that's why I got to lean that way right now. So I'd keep my eye on the Lightning and try to grab that number while it's still a little juicy. Tonight, let's go. Winnipeg's on this long East Coast trip. They won last night in Philadelphia. Now they're at the Rock against the Devils this evening, and they are a road favorite again. -125 for the Jets, +105 for the Devils, and a 5.5.
I still like the Jets here at the Rock.
I like the Jets at the Rock as well tonight, and I like the under too. I gave a number on NHL Today earlier. I think that the Devils, 12 of their last 14 home games have been under. Been playing a lot of unders at home in Newark, and you got a team like the Jets in town tonight. Might be a good night to go after it. Detroit is in. They've been struggling. They've lost 4 in a row. They're in D.C. against the Capitals tonight. -225 for the Caps, +185 for the Wings, and a 6.5.
Yeah, I like the Capitals minus the goal and a half at +110 on the puck line.
Elsewhere, Utah. They've been hot. They've won 4 out of 5. They're in Chicago against the Blackhawks, laying the lumber on the road. They won in Detroit last night, going to try to win in Chicago. -170, plus $1.45 for the Blackhawks and a 6.5.
I think they can win at that price. I also think they can win on the puck line at plus $1.40 or more. I think they can beat the Blackhawks by a couple goals easily.
Minnesota is in Vancouver against the Canucks. Minnesota has beaten Vancouver 9 of the last 10 times they've played them. Vancouver minus 125, Wild plus 105, and a 5.5.
Oh, so they own them. Give me the Canucks then,
Own
minus $1.25. I'll bet on the Wild when they've won 9 in a row against somebody and they'll lose.
That's 9 out of 10 they've beaten Vancouver. So we'll see how that goes for them tonight. The Penguins are still out west. They are at the T-Mobile in Vegas tonight against the Knights. Big lumber, minus 255 for Vegas, plus 205 for the Penguins, and a 6.5.
Yeah, I'm going to lay a goal and a half here with Vegas. The Penguins, they give up so many goals. They get their ass beat every time they play. Look what happened in Colorado, right? It's just one after the next. Vegas is going to stomp them, no? I have no faith in the Penguins. They stink.
Vegas also, and you notice I have all my numbers today because I used them on the NHL show. Vegas, 4 of their last 5 at home have covered the puck line, the minus the 1.5. 4 of their last 5 at home. So they've been doing it at the T-Mobile, and I think they'll probably do it again tonight against the Penguins out there. And finally, the Blues are in Anaheim at the Duck Pond. This is like the Minnesota thing. How about this domination? They've won 12 of their last 13 in Anaheim. They've beaten the Ducks 8 straight overall. They're road favorites, minus $1.60, Ducks plus 132, and the 5.5.
Yeah, and then don't they, I think they double back and play the Kings again? Will they play L.A. once and then the Ducks, then they go back and play them again?
Yep.
This is that big thing that Denny Bernstein talked about, the L.A. trip. And I'm going to go with the Blues tonight on the pond, even though I like that Duck team. But those are staggering numbers of dominance. What you just told me, it's worse than the other one. It's way worse than the Wild.
It's worse than the Wild, the one that I gave you for them. So there you go. That's your night in the NHL for you. A couple good ones this weekend, too. Toronto, Colorado tomorrow night. And you're going to have a lot of new faces on both of those teams when they get together. Kings and Vegas Sunday night. So that's a good one as well. So you got a couple good games.
Anyone that's been to a sporting event, the atmosphere before a game, I think Game Time Decisions has that same exact atmosphere. This is our arena. This is what we do. There is going to be an energy to Game Time Decisions that you will feel night in and night out. The excitement you get when you lock your bets in, when you're figuring out what you want to do, we can zone in on the biggest games each night. I want this to be the place that people come to before the games start so they feel as ready as possible to lock in their cards. We are going to hit every single one of those markets that you need to know about. We're going to go through every single thing, and I've got a great team behind me that's going to help me get the job done. There is not going to be a better place, I promise you, than Game Time Decisions to get that new information, react to it, and be able to then bet accordingly. We will have everything at our disposal, and we will use that to our advantage. I'm Kevin Walsh. Tune into Game Time Decisions from 6 to 8 p.m. Eastern on SportsGrid.
The two guys that can do it all.
Too much electricity this morning.
This is a good time. We're having a lot of fun. I had to do a triple take. Ka-ching! Why? Because of parity. I didn't mean to offend.
Yeah, it's not going to happen.
Load management is a dirty word.
Let him rip.
You know what? Circumstances provide the results. What? How do you do this once? Oh, Donnie, you've got such a good show there.
A network that is booming.
The Early Line, only on SportsGrid.
Off of the Combine this weekend, there's been lots of anonymous sources and position coaches and all these things that sat down in interviews with him. A lot of teams allegedly don't see him as a first-round pick.
Their big mouth that thinks they can do it either. They're embarrassing themselves. They all think they're so smart, everybody in this business. You're all a bunch of drips. Honestly, you don't know who's going anywhere.
Ferrall, coast to coast, only on SportsGrid.
Just so you know, Belmont's going to win. There's 40 seconds left. They're up 16. Hofstra's up 20 at the half. And Mercer's up with 5 left in the first half by 6 over West Carolina in those games that are going on right now. Let's hook up, though, right now and talk about what happened at the Combine with Rich Sermonello.
Hey, Scott, let's talk NFL Combine, or I like to refer to it as Big Guys Jumping High. Happens every February. I think the storyline for a lot of people was who wasn't there. No Cam Ward, Shedeur Sanders, Ashton Genty. But obviously we got a lot of raw data. A lot of kids help themselves out in terms of their NFL draft cause. The big winners for me, I'll start on defense. Nick Emanwari from South Carolina, safety, 6'3", 220 pounds. Knew he was going to be impressive, knew he was a freakish athlete, but exceeded all expectations. 4.38 in the 40, 43-inch vert. Again, 6'3", 220. We're talking about linebacker size, moving like a wide receiver. Scott, I tried over the weekend to come up with a comp on defense. Couldn't do it. I had to go to offense. I think he is the defensive Megatron. This is Calvin Johnson on the defensive side of the ball. I followed this kid closely over the last 3 years. The tape is outstanding, phenomenal ball skills, not just a great athlete, he's a great defensive player. Looked like a fringe first round, possible early day 2 pick before the Combine. I think he's now into the top half of the first round of the NFL draft. Nick Emanwari, a name to keep in mind. Defensively, keep it here, Shamar Stewart of Texas A&M, edge rusher, 6'5", 267, ran 4.59, 40-inch vert. Again, knew he was a great athlete. The tape, not as great. He needs some work in terms of his technique, plays a little bit high, played in the shadow of Nick Scorton at College Station last year. But again, that kind of a performance, I think he now is the number 2 edge rusher behind Abdul Carter. Possible top 10 pick, Shamar Stewart. Offensively, go with a running back, Virginia Tech's Bashal Tutin. A great example to me, Scott, of what happens when an FCS kid is overlooked and gets an opportunity to play in the P4. Tutin at Virginia Tech over the last 2 seasons, 31 touchdowns as a runner, as a receiver, and a special teamer. Track star in high school in New Jersey, ran a 4.32 at the Combine. He helped his cause. And in terms of quarterbacks, again, no Cam Ward, no Shedeur Sanders. Jackson Dart looked good. Tyler Shuck looked good. But the kid that stood out to me was Brady Cook of Missouri. Superb ball placement in the skills drills, tremendous athleticism. Won a lot of games at Mizzou, back-to-back 10-win seasons in the SEC. So not suggesting in any way he's a first-round pick, looking probably day 3. But we're always looking for day 3 quarterbacks who can contribute and make a roster. I think Brady Cook out of Missouri really, really helped his cause in Indianapolis over the weekend.
My man, Rich Sermonello, great stuff talking about the Combine. Have a good weekend, pal. Let's talk about college football quarterback power rankings, Carver High, looking ahead because spring ball is starting, and the next thing you know, it'll be college football season before you know it.
It is, and you sent me this the other day, and I've been holding it off, and it is Friday, and if I don't get it in on Friday, it'll never make it through the week.
It'll go into the trash bin.
And we don't like to do that. So here it is, the college football quarterback power rankings, according to people who think they know. And sure enough, here we go with it. What do you got up there? Arch Manning, Cade Klubnik, Carson Beck, Drew Aller, Sam Levitt, your boy Nussmeier from LSU, Rocco Becht, DJ Lagway from Florida. Lots of big names for you there in the college football quarterback rankings.
There is one quarterback that we all want to watch next year, and that's Arch Manning. They should have let him play more this year than they did. If they did, they might have won the national championship, but they didn't. So now we're finally going to get to see him It's his ship. He'll be running the show in Austin, and he'll be incredible. And obviously, Aller, I've never thought he was great, but I thought he got better, and he certainly played well in the playoffs. And then he's going back to Penn State, and they're going to be loaded, and he's probably going to have a big year in Happy Valley.
Sadly, that's probably true. Nobody wants to see them have a big year.
No.
Certainly not me. There you go. Seahawks, of course, we've talked a lot about their wide receivers this week. DK Metcalf. They allegedly want a first and a third round pick for him. Oh, by the way, you give up that first and third round pick. You know what else you're going to need to do? Your boy wants a new deal and get paid $30 million a year. So that's a little bit of a double-edged sword for you.
$30 million a year. I'll tell you what, there's a lot of teams that I truly believe would love to have him running over the middle, catching passes for him. I think that he'll have offers. I think someone's going to pay him, of all people. He is still ripped, still great at what he does now. You look at the other one, right? Lockett, he says he wants to keep playing. He's not going to have those kind of offers that this guy's going to get. I think he'll get the money.
No, he's not going to have those kind of offers, that's for sure. A lot of these guys that last week, remember we did all these stories about they're letting them seek a trade. They're letting them look for a trade. Jonathan Allen of Washington, Pro Bowl defensive tackle, was one of those guys. Well, I guess they couldn't find a trade because they just cut him loose. He'll be released. And the same thing with that Landry on the Titans. Remember, we did that I just saw a little while ago. He also is getting released by Tennessee. They were not able to find a trade for him. It's like almost like they know, right? Like they know you're going to release him if you don't trade him.
Still good. I mean, he went to 2 Pro Bowls. He's still good.
He can get after the quarterback. Washington did bring back Bobby Wagner. 1-year deal. That's going to be worth up to $9.5 million. I know he's been around a while, Scotty, but he was a big part of Washington making that run this past season. He was very big for that defense.
There's no doubt. And he's also old.
He's old. There's no question there. Buffalo, 4-year, $50 million extension with one of their better defensive players. That is linebacker Terrell Bernard. When you could tell when he was out of the lineup last year injured. So it's a big deal that they have Bernard back for the next few years in the Below. And I know that you were going to be missing potentially some of those commercials around the New York tri-state area, whether it was like, the Stu Leonard's commercials or anywhere else with Tommy Cutlets slinging, whether it's sauce or breadcrumbs, whatever it is. Don't have to worry. Re-signing with the Giants. Cutlets lives on with the Giant football team. So more Tommy DeVito with the football Giants. Very exciting.
Tommy Cutlets.
Hey, got to be there for Tommy Cutlets indeed. All right, I have a bunch of baseball stuff for you, which I am going to get to. In fact, I'm going to do it after the break because I just don't have enough time and I want to make sure that I get all of it in. I will tell you, though, before I go to the break, we are getting to the end here of the second round at the Arnold Palmer at Bay Hill. As the sun's beginning to set, make sure you spring those clocks ahead on Saturday night, too, Scotty. Don't forget that.
Don't you lose an hour of sleep?
Lose an hour of sleep Saturday night, which is not fun. Shane Lowry, the Irish Bear, will go into the weekend at 8 under and the lead. And Wyndham the Butler Clark will be right behind him at 6 under. The good news is, Scotty, the good news is we have both of those guys from Golf Wednesday. I gave you Shane Lowry and Wyndham Clark, and they're both 1 and 2. But the problem is we need to get them 1 and 2 on Sunday night at about 6 o'clock. That's where we need them 1 and 2. So hopefully we're able to cross that finish line with one of those two guys this week. We're halfway there, but there's a lot of golf left. And some guys breathing down their neck. Connors, Morikawa, Henley, Rory, Jason Day, Justin Thomas. Star-studded board here for the weekend at Bay Hill.
Scheffler 7 back.
anyone that's been to a sporting event, the atmosphere before a game, I think Game Time Decisions has that same exact atmosphere. This is our arena. This is what we do. There is going to be an energy to Game Time Decisions that you will feel night in and night out. The excitement you get when you lock your bets in, when you're figuring out what you want to do, we can zone in on the biggest games each night. I want this to be the place that people come to before the games start so they feel as ready as possible to lock in their cards. We are going to hit every single one of those markets that you need to know about. We're going to go through every single thing, and I've got a great team behind me that's going to help me get the job done. There is not going to be a better place, I promise you, than Game Time Decisions to get that new information, react to it, and be able to then bet accordingly. We will have everything at our disposal, and we will use that to our advantage. I'm Kevin Walsh. Tune into Game Time Decisions from 6 to 8 p.m. Eastern on SportsGrid.
The two guys that can do it all.
Too much electricity this morning.
This is a good time. We're having a lot of fun. I had to do a triple take. Ka-ching! Why? Because of parity. I didn't mean to offend.
Yeah, it's not going to happen.
Load management is a dirty word.
Let him rip.
You know what? Circumstances provide the results. What? How do you do this one? Oh, Donnie, you got such a good show there.
A network that is booming.
The Early Line, only on SportsGrid.
Off of the combine this weekend, there's been lots of anonymous sources and position coaches and all these things that sat down in interviews with him. A lot of teams allegedly don't see him as a first-round pick.
Their big mouth that thinks they can do it either. They're embarrassing themselves. They all think they're so smart, everybody in this business. You're all a bunch of drips. Honestly, you don't know who's going anywhere.
Ferrall Coast to Coast, only on SportsGrid.
You know, it's amazing how they hand out these long-term deals, Carver High and everything. Rantanen, and now you're going to give me a long-term baseball deal for a manager, no less.
Yes. So the Dodgers, of course, after winning the World Series this past year, and I got a couple of them now, too, since he's been the manager, are close to a long-term extension with Dave Roberts. He's going to get himself a lot of money and a lot of security. Remember when they want to get rid of him too before last year? They get rid of Dave Roberts. They kept losing in the NLCS and everything else. Get him out. Yeah, man, things change fast in a year, and when you get every single good player that comes out, you get the whole entire all-star team helps also.
That's why I don't like this. Like, I get it. He deserves an extension, but like, I got to be honest, the way that Hal handles, and I'm not a Boone fan, but at least they'll give him like 2 years and that's it. Like, okay, we'll give you 2 years and let's just calm down here because, you know, you never get it done. So I can see rewarding Roberts, but you start giving managers long-term deals. It makes no sense to me. They win. Listen, they win because they have all the talent in the world. They're so deep. Do I think he's some remarkable, bench manager sitting in there calling the shots? No, I don't. I think the players are the ones that get it done. And I don't, as you know, I don't like giving goalies 8-year deals. There isn't a goalie. I wouldn't even give the best goalies 8 years. 8 years? Christ. You know what 8 years? That's like dog years for goalies. I mean, honestly, isn't dog years like 7 years per? Every year to a goalie to me is at least 3 or 4 years. I've given a long-term deal to a goalie, my ass. 8 years for Rantanen in Dallas, they're going to regret that too. He'll play there 4 years. In the 5th year, they'll sell him to a lacrosse league. I don't believe in him. I mean it. Like, what do you think? I'm kidding?
Speaking of
athletes, I don't give long-term anything.
Here's another long-term deal for you. Although this one isn't as much money. We loved this guy last year on the A's. He cleaned up for me a few nights on Tater Time. The Butler.
Larry the Butler.
From the A's. We love this dude. 7 years, $65.5 million. Wants to make sure that he's going to be part of that Vegas experience for the A's. So he got himself involved with the 7-year deal. We love the Butler. The Butler did it. Whenever he
Rooker. We like a couple of them.
Yeah. Rooker and Butler. The A's can score runs. That's for sure. We gave you that Portland
I wouldn't
stadium.
give him 7 years either.
We gave
4
you
max.
We gave you the renderings on the Portland stadium. I guess it was yesterday. Well, I figured you liked that so much. Here's a stadium that actually should get built, and that's that stadium is going to be on the corner of the Trop right there in Vegas. This is where the A's hopefully are going to be playing. They should be putting this into the ground very soon.
What was remember the alien on the, what was it, he had the hat that looked like that? Almost like
yeah.
Mr. Magoo.
Mr. Magoo. There it is. The A's stadium in Vegas. Kazoo. I don't know which alien it is. Gunnar Henderson. How many guys are hurt to start the year? Gunnar Henderson may miss opening day for the Orioles. Deal. Another one. I love these. Mild right intercostal strain.
For those of you who didn't go to medical school, by the ocean,
yeah,
people park their boats.
For those of you who didn't go to medical school, his ribs are hurt. Is pretty much what that is. His ribs hurt. His intercostal.
I don't want to have to pay for medical school. I recommend no one that I know goes to medical school. That'll cost you $500,000 and like 13 years before you become a doctor. And then the insurance companies don't pay the doctors. Everybody's suing everybody. There's another long-term situation I don't want to get involved in. The only thing that should be long-term around here is Coast to Coast and Ryan Ferrall. Shake that shack up.
Here's something else to make you happy going into the weekend. Did you know that your boy, Paul Skeens, Pittsburgh Pirates, as we are getting closer to opening day, he is your big board odds-on favorite to win the National League Cy Young this season. He is now 2-1 before they even throw a pitch. Skeens is 2-1 to win the Cy Young before they've even started the season.
I am not going there. All I know is I just pray to the baseball gods that his arm stays on his body. This guy throws so hard, and he throws like 9 pitches now. I'm just waiting for the bad news. Like, it's all these guys that throw that hard and have, 7 pitches, all this other nonsense. All their arms fall off. They all end up going to see Andrews. I just want him to be healthy. I don't need all the awards and bobbleheads and everything. We already know the Pirates suck. They can't even score runs. Cy Young. Can I just get him through another season without his arm falling off? Would that be all right? I want to see the guy healthy. That's what I want. I just want to see him have a career. And then I want to see him in Pittsburgh. I want to see them not F this up like they have every single other player that ever played there in the history of the franchise. They have F'd up every single guy they've ever had. Every one of them.
Skeens is the favorite at 2-1. I will let you know also, Zach Wheeler's 8-1, Blake Snell 9-1, Corbin Burns 13-1. Remember, he's in Arizona now, and Chris Sale 14-1. Those are the other favorites on the NL Cy Young board.
It'll end up being none of them. Watch.
Yeah, we could take some deep shots if you want. We'll find some deep shots down the line that we can find to get in. That Yamamoto 17-1. From the Dodgers. He'll probably have a big year this year.
I don't like him to begin with, or the other ones, Sasaki, all the rest of them. I don't like any of those guys. I don't like any of them. I mean it.
We'll do leftovers, including, did you know, because I didn't until today, big UFC card tomorrow night.
That I won't be buying.
anyone that's been to a sporting event, the atmosphere before a game, I think Game Time Decisions has that same exact atmosphere. This is our arena. This is what we do. There is going to be an energy to Game Time Decisions that you will feel night in and night out. The excitement you get when you lock your bets in, when you're figuring out what you want to do, we can zone in on the biggest games each night. I want this to be the place that people come to before the games start so they feel as ready as possible to lock in their cards. We are going to hit every single one of those markets that you need to know about. We're gonna go through every single thing, and I've got a great team behind me that's gonna help me get the job done. There is not gonna be a better place, I promise you, than Game Time Decisions to get that new information, react to it, and be able to then bet accordingly. We will have everything at our disposal, and we will use that to our advantage. I'm Kevin Walsh. Tune into Game Time Decisions from 6 to 8 p.m. Eastern on SportsGrid.
The two guys that can do it all.
Too much electricity this morning.
This is a good time. We're having a lot of fun.
I had to do a triple take. Ka-ching! Why? Because of parity. I didn't mean to offend.
Yeah, it's not going to happen.
Load management is a dirty word.
Let him rip.
You know what? Circumstances provide the results. What? How do you do this once? Oh, Donnie, you got such a good show there.
A network that is booming.
The Early Line, only on SportsGrid.
Off of the Combine this weekend, there's been lots of anonymous sources and position coaches and all these things that sat down in interviews with him. A lot of teams allegedly don't see him as a first-round pick.
Their big mouth that thinks they can do it either. They're embarrassing themselves. They all think they're so smart, everybody in this business. You're all a bunch of drips. Honestly, you don't know who's going anywhere.
Ferrall Coast to Coast, only on SportsGrid.
Everybody loves leftovers.
Everybody does love leftovers as we head into the weekend here and full college basketball next week. I did want to give you one more baseball thing. I have a lot of preseason stuff, but we still have a few weeks to go. You know I love win totals, so I'm starting to do a little bit of my homework for the Sheet of Integrity to start the season. And I did notice, I mean, this Dodger win total, as you would expect, it's healthy. Let's just say that. It is currently sitting up at 104.5 is where you're getting this Dodger win total at right now. Most bet team to go under at BetMGM. And I saw the last 5 teams that had totals of 104.5 or higher have all gone under. 4 of the last 5 of preseason total 104.5 have gone under. It's tough. You know, remember last year they had that stretch from like mid-May to mid-July where like they didn't care and like Yamamoto was hurt and remember Betts was out for a couple months like that. Like
Justin
I
May,
feel like they'll have
everybody.
Like I feel like they'll have another one of those this year because they know they just got to make the playoffs, and as long as everyone's healthy for that, they'll be fine. Under.
I hope they have. I hope they have 4 of them.
Under.
I hope they have 4 stretches of misery. I hate them.
Well, that would be good if we could get that. I'm not sure that we will, but it would be nice. So there you go, the Dodger win total. We'll do more win total stuff next week. UFC, big pay-per-view, 313.
Whoa.
Tomorrow night in Vegas at the
Is that
T-Mobile.
how much it costs? $313?
Yeah, that's if you buy the HD, it's that much. If you get the standard def,
4K,
it's still
$500.
it's still $99.99 for the standard def. Alex Pereira is in the main event against this Russian Ankalaev. I'm sure Mafia is laughing at me because of how I pronounce the guy's name. Justin Gaethje's fighting this Fiziev. King Green on the card against Russell. Big night of fighting. Yes, there for you. That's not a fight night,
man.
That's not a fight night card.
I put that with Luke's NASCAR races.
That is a pay-per-view bout. That is a pay-per-view card that I'm giving you, not a fight night card.
Whatever.
That tells you where they're at right now. This Japanese fighter, Inoue, he's going to defend the super bantamweight titles. He's got like 10 of them against Ramon Cardenas in Vegas on May the 4th.
Cardenas.
Then he's already got the next fight lined up. He's going to fight, I'm not even trying that one.
Some guy in Tokyo. And his name's...
He's going to fight some guy in Tokyo if he wins on the 14th. I know that guys like us and the promoters are hoping he loses so he doesn't have to fight that guy in September. Maybe that guy will be out of the mix. And I know I give you a lot of golf all day. I'm going to give you a little bit more. Liv is in Hong Kong, as you know. They played the first round last night because it's they teed off at 11 o'clock at night because it's on the other side of the world. And I will let you know that Paul Casey, one of my guys from yesterday's show with Brady, who I picked, Paul Casey at 45-1, he is in the lead after the first round. He's got a couple shot lead. And Sergio, who me and Brady both have, at 22-1, is only 2 shots back of him at 5 under. So we have got some guys in the mix at Hong Kong this weekend. We got a chance, Scotty. I'm just gonna say I don't want to jinx it, but we have a chance for a really big golf weekend. I have Casey in the lead. I've got Lowry and Clark at the Arnold Palmer.
Let's go.
And how about this too? How about Puerto Rico? We've got 150-1 Davis Riley, who's second right now, and 600-1 Austin Cook, who's third right now, 2 shots back of the lead. So we have got a chance for a big golf weekend. There you go. We'll try to get him
with
home.
golf. Put it with the golf guru himself, the Ferrall finish. The Olympian snowboarder turned drug lord Ryan El Jefe Wedding, added to the FBI's 10 most wanted list, ran a worldwide cocaine drug ring where they killed their competitors and murdered them, including one hit that was the wrong 2 people. They did a mishit, if you will. Your boy El Jefe was a Canadian Olympic snowboarder, and he did horrible in the giant slalom, but he became a terrific drug dealer. GTD is next. Have a killer weekend. Get my app, search Ferrall. It's badass. We'll see you Monday at 3. A coast to coast.
Which is a great place to be. Are you in the locker room, like you giving like the Any Given Sunday Inches Al Pacino speech? Are we there yet?
Oh yeah, I think we've been there. We're gonna have a long talk with Rob today about the 99-199 issue from last week. Like I just don't get how he is still employed. We gotta talk to ownership about that one.
The Smiley Show, only on SportsGrid.
Possible that while every other state is trying to copy New York and get that 51% tax on sports betting, is it possible that New York will actually lower their taxes? That's surprising.
The question is, of course, what sports books could go there. I mean, we're already at 9 that are the biggest ones out there in the market. So, I mean, who are you really missing?
Newswire, only on SportsGrid.
Remember when everyone was upset about NIL? You know what NIL did? Make sure Cooper Flag wasn't playing with the G League Ignite. That's good for us. That's good for college basketball. When the best players are actually playing college basketball.
You're going to get battle tested. And it doesn't matter, Kevin, if you're at home or on the road. If you don't come ready to play in the SEC, you're going home with an L.
Betting above the rim, only on SportsGrid.
The 2 guys that can do it all.
Too much electricity this morning.
This is a good time. We're having a lot of fun.
I had to do a triple take. Ka-ching! Why? Because of parity.
I didn't mean to offend.
Yeah, it's not going to happen.
Load management is a dirty word.
Let him rip.
You know what? Circumstances provide the results. What? How do you do this one? Oh, Donnie, you got such a good show there.
A network that is booming.
The Early Line, only on SportsGrid.